the next sort of set of principles or principle that you indicate is uh, a distinction between these various acts of the intellect. So defining, judging, and reasoning. And you note that even in mystical experiences of the saints, they never leave behind the judgments of the faith. So tell us a little bit about those three acts and the judgments of the faith.
Yeah, and of course, the readers will have to somewhat go to the article, so I won't plumb deeply
Sure.
into this. But this is structurally going to be important later in the article to understand some of the models for understanding dogmatic development. So we do three main things whenever we at least speculate with our intellect. We form definitions, right? We pass. This is what we're doing all the time. If you have kids, they're trying to explain what something is, and they may be totally off, right, in how they explain something. So my neighbor just recently got goats, and my child didn't do this, my youngest didn't do this, but they could say something like little cow or something like that. Is how they could define very wrongly what the goat is, right? But that's an act of defining, and we progressively try to do this by being more exact. So defining is this process of taking our terms and making them more explicit, and there are rules for that you can learn in logic. Then we form statements. We form statements, and they presuppose something for a subject and a predicate, right? And so Christ is the Son of God. The Eucharist is really the substantial body, blood, soul, and divinity really present of Jesus Christ. Baptism imprints an indelible character on the soul, and so forth. And so these combinations of subjects and predicates are where we attain truth. According to at least scholastic theories of judgment. They presuppose that there's some kind of content for the subject and predicate, so that has to be at least somewhat stable. But then we judge that something is indeed truly the case. And then, every day, all the time, we reason, we explain why it is we hold something. And so there are different kinds of reasoning that can be considered, and this becomes really important in some super technical debates over dogmatic development, how we think about the logical structure of dogmatic development. So I kind of give it here as a high level to introduce it, so people at least have some examples of a definition of proposition and reasoning, and then it's there present again later on in the article.